Hi, Pastor Kevin.
Hello.
Welcome to our St. Paul's YouTube channel. This Lent, we're talking about creation and faith, and you are a pastor at Spirit Alive with an exclamation point in Kenosha. And you're my friend, and I know that you care about creation and ecology. And so I asked you to talk to me about this. Thank you for saying yes. And the question that we're going to talk about today is I asked you to tell me which Bible story or about a Bible story that includes themes of nature and creation and how that intersects with your faith. Like, what do you like about it? Why? Whatever you want to tell us. So take it away, Pastor Kevin.
Well, thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to get a talk on this. So one of my favorite Bible passages that has to deal with creation and nature in general actually comes from a little bit more of an obscure place than a lot of us go, and it's Job 38, when Job is listening to God speaking out of the whirlwind, and God is kind of yelling at Job, but uses all of this beautiful creation imagery. It's almost a creation story. So I want to read just a couple short passages from it that mean a lot from me. I'm going to skip the part about, him saying, gird up your loins like a man, answer me. And God asked Job, where were you when I laid the foundations of the earth? Tell me if you have understanding. Who determined its measurements? Surely you know. Or who stretched the line upon it? On what were its bases sunk? Or who laid its cornerstone when the morning stars sang together and all the heavenly beings shouted for joy? Or who shut in the sea doors when it burst from the womb? When I made the cloud its garment and the thick darkness its swaddling band, and prescribed bounds for it, and set bars and doors, and said, thus far you shall come and no farther, and here shall your proud waves be stopped. And then I'm going to skip down just a little bit farther. Uh, to where is the way of the dwelling of light, and where is the place of darkness, that you may take it to its territory, and that you may discern the paths to its home? Surely you know, for you were born then, and the number of your days is great. Have you entered the storehouses of the snow, or seen the storehouses of the hail, which I reserved for the time of trouble, for the day of battle and war? What is what is the way to the place where light is distributed, or where the east wind is scattered upon the earth? Has the rain a father, or who has begotten the drops of dew? From whose womb did the ice come forth? And who has given birth to the hoarfrost of heaven? So I'll stop there because that's just some passages. I love this story, and I first fell in love with it back when I was an undergraduate student at the University of Montana. And in the ecology department, there was a United Church of Christ pastor who had his PhD in ecology, who loved to come to campus ministry events and talk about this passage.
Hmm.
And I think what really draws me in to this passage more than some is the language that comes throughout the whole passage of this beginning of time and foundation laying, but it weaves away from just language of like master builder. Like I always think of the creation stories in Genesis and think master builder, somebody like hammering the nails in the right places, and switches the whole story into this beautiful feminine language for God. And it talks about God birthing creation, the waters bursting forth from the womb, right?
Mhm.
Does creation have a father?
Yeah.
Um, I love how, or does the rain have a father? Whose womb did the ice come forth? Who has given birth to the hoarfrost? One of the reasons I love this about the creation story is because it changes it from just being our God, who's some like master planner being, kind of all powerful, to someone actually in love, in the labor pains and the exhaustion and the deep passion that comes with such a creation, and the care for that kind of creation. That it's not just some God who created us to like praise me, I am the Holy One, I
Yeah.
created earth. Your being is only to create me. It's a God who delights in love in the process and is willing to sacrifice a lot too, because labor is all about sacrifice, if anything, in our female bodies. Um, so yeah, this story also then like it takes me from a place as a human being when I think of my theology, from like looking at the world and those language of like, you know, go out and subdue the earth, humans. Like this is your creation. And it puts us in this tender, loving relationship of swaddling and wrapping and celebrating with God the beauty of creation. I love that line in Job where, you know, when the morning stars sang together and all the heavenly beings shouted for joy in the birth narrative. This is like we are sitting in a birthing suite in a hospital, essentially. And, you know, all of creation is reveling in this new life together and celebrating and protecting it. Yeah, so that's why I kind of like come to this passage as one of my favorites about creation.
Wow. Thank you. I took a Job class and I really never read this story that way. I always thought it was God being like, "Who are you, you human?" And you just cast that in a really awesome light. Thank you, Pastor Kevin, for me, but also, you know, whoever watches this. And happy Lent.
Thank you.